Right, hi everyone, welcome back. Now, it's a big week this week. It's obviously the US elections. Whether that's going to make a massive impact or not, we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, we can look back through historical data and stuff like that, but usually, you know, these things are going to be what they're going to be. Um, right, we'll start off with the portfolio. Now we're down almost 1%. The market was massively down last week. On Friday, it carried on sliding from about Wednesday till Friday, if I remember rightly. I started a new pie. So as we can see in this pie, we're up just under 4% from Friday. Now, I called it undervalued because these were the companies that I've been looking at that I thought, in my personal opinion, that were undervalued. Now, I did Apple afterwards, so no capital's being deployed there. So yeah, we've got J&J, Diamondback Energy, Glaxo, Pfizer, and 3M. And obviously Diamondback, I've been watching them. It's been a really bad year for energy, as everybody I'm sure will know. And yeah, the price last week was just looking more and more inviting for me. So this is something I need to learn as well. Really, I need to hold off until I'm ready to pull the trigger on something. And that's just how I'm going to sort of develop, I think, with my investing anyway. But yeah, just under 12% since Friday, so that's fantastic there. But everything's in the green on that, so that one is looking good for the time being. Now going into the main bulk of the investments, obviously AT&T still down. It's back up though actually compared to what it was. Um, I did. Oh, I sold Square. That was my big thing last week. I sold Square. Basically, it was on the back of the news coming out of PayPal. Um, I, Personally, I just wasn't happy with the way Square was presenting sort of their earnings figures and their whole business model for the future as well. It just made me feel a little bit uneasy, really. So the deeper I started to dig right into it and do my own analysis, I wasn't happy. So um, the final straw that broke the camel's back was PayPal announcing Bitcoin payments, pretty much. And obviously, to me, PayPal's got a much stronger brand recognition. And I don't really give two shits about any company. Any sort of my personal feelings don't come into it. It just comes down to purely business. And from a business point of view, PayPal's just it's everybody knows what PayPal is, especially over in Europe. Um, so yeah, so the money went into PayPal, and yeah, we'll just look at the biggest holding, obviously Tesla. Now Tesla last week was well under 400, but I've got to pick and choose where I put money. I've already got quite a big chunk of money in there, so I kind of was. It was very frustrating not to be able to put some money in there, but I've got quite a lot of assets tied up in a lot of cash tied up in crypto as well. So there's only so much, and I want to keep some cash on the sideline as well, just in case. Yeah, I put some more money into Stag Industrial. It's been doing really well for me, and it's great because it's a monthly dividend payer, which is fantastic to get some compounding going on there. I put some more money into LTC properties as well. In the short term, whatever will be with these sort of things. Long term, I think this is going to be absolutely fine. But yeah, Intel's still massively down. I'm still pretty bullish on this price anyway. I think will be very good if you got in at like $44. I think it's a bit of a steal personally, but that's just my opinion. So I thought, wrapping it up for the portfolio there, I thought getting into this, we'd start off with a VIX index, which obviously a lot of you will be aware is called the fear index, but ultimately it's the volatility index. And we could see last week we peaked again for recent times on Wednesday, and that's been dropping ever since. Now, this does clearly have quite a big bearing on how investors perceive, when to deploy their capital or when to sell or when to buy. But this isn't the be all and end all. So, but it is very important to know sort of what the sentiments of the markets are. But going into the election, obviously, just before we get started, guys, I'm a political atheist here. I don't really care about either of these two people. They're both just sort of a different flavour of, the same thing to me. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter to me because A, I'm in the UK, and B, my opinions are based purely on making money. We're investors. So it's definitely, you don't want to get too wrapped up in sort of political think because it'll cloud your judgment and mess up your decisions. So as it stands, it's saying obviously Biden leads by 10%, but again, take that with a pinch of salt because we all remember what happened last time, and we all remember, how all the polls sort of said things would go in the UK with Brexit and stuff like that. One thing I did find interesting though is that this seems to be quite a recurring theme everywhere across all the sort of publications across America. Is that like Black Lives Matter, Antifa, along with lots of other far left groups, are promising there's going to be huge sort of riots and challenges, and this could cause a lot of instability in the market as well. So there could be a lot of good opportunity coming into the next few weeks or months. And obviously, another story here, a lot of American shops and stuff are boarding up because they've all clearly been tipped off that there could potentially be trouble looming. So this is just an interesting one, I thought. Obviously, if all these places are boarding up, here's another article here from New York Times. If these are all boarding up, they're clearly expecting something to happen. And obviously, investors and things get very nervous when they see these sort of things happening. And then basically going on to the stimulus. Now, this is one of those where we're not going to really know much until after the election has come to a head, really, and we find out who's going to be taking over and what's going to be happening. But I'd imagine if we carry on as we are, there is going to have to be some sort of stimulus. But it'd be interesting to see how the markets react to that news, whether it's not, or whether there is no stimulus, or whether there is stimulus. I just thought that'd be quite interesting as well. But yeah, really, the message sort of this week is try and not get too wrapped up in sort of your own opinion, especially when it comes to investing. Ultimately, you just want to be buying stuff cheaper. So find a big list of all the companies that you're interested. So say you've been after buying Intel or 3M or AT&T or whatever, or like I was with Diamondback Energy, you just wait and wait and wait until you think the time is right. It's a fair value for you. But ultimately, over time, usually if you've picked a half-decent company, the fundamentals are there. You will be okay. But again, if you're not that sure, just buy an ETF, that tracks either a segment of the market or an area that you're interested in. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this week, guys. But yeah, I thought that'd be quite interesting to show you how my thoughts have been towards investing over the last week or so. And yeah, speak to you all soon.